Well, if you enjoyed that women's 800 metres, sit back and feast your eyes on the men's 1500. What a race this should be. Firmin Cacho there, former Olympic champion. And this crowd are going to go absolutely berserk, Brendan. I know it's El Garouge versus Nien, that's the top billing, but the Spaniards are in there as well.
And they were looking at this young Kenyan, and the Moroccan on the outside of him, and the former Olympic champion, or the defending Olympic champion, Noureddin Morsali. But there's the man that this race is all about. He is the world champion, he's the world record holder. We know what kind of race he can run, Steve. He has to run his races from a long way out. And the question is, can Noah Nien stay close enough to Morsali to El Garouge when he makes his move? And that's the only way that he's going to be beaten. There's Noah Nien, the young Kenyan, 866. And gathered back home at 59 Park Road, Teddington, will be all the Kenyans who are based in London, coached by Kim MacDonald, and watching the young man.
Well, Nien knows what he has to do. He has to be very close to El Garouge when he makes his move, and it will be an early move, I'm sure. But what will the Spaniards do? Will they run as a team? Will they try and box clever? They are very good tactically, the Spaniards. Watch for Estevez possibly to get out in the front and try and control it. Cacho will try and help him with that, I'm sure. And look, El Garouge is saying, come on guys, you're going to have to get in front of me right from the very start. And look who's at the front. El Garouge and Morsali and Nien. There's already pushing and shoving from Estevez and Cacho, and I think that's hard to be expected. The expectation from this crowd is huge. And Brendan, this is rewriting the script here, because I think the Spaniards wanted to get in front and control it in front of El Garouge.
And I'm not surprised to see the young Moroccan 974 coming into the lead, taking over and setting a pace for his more illustrious teammate. That's Kaouch from Morocco. But I talked to Kim MacDonald, the coach of Noah Nien, and he said he's going to sit on the shoulder on the outside of El Garouge for all the way. He's not going to let him get more than a couple of yards ahead. And that is the essence of the race. Can Noah Nien stay close enough to El Garouge on a 54-second first lap? Well, that's a glamorous opening to a championship 1500-meter race, Steve.
Well, I have to say, Brandon, from a personal point of view, I'm slightly disappointed that El Garouge feels as though he has to have a pacemaker, because let's face it, that's what this young Moroccan is. El Garouge, I think, is good enough to win this race, whatever pace it's run at whatever point he kicks. It would be close and Nien would run him fast, but El Garouge, I think, remembering what happened to him in Atlanta when he fell, when the pace was slow, remembering that he has been out-kicked once or twice when there haven't been pacemakers, and that slight chink in his armour is something that he doesn't want to let anybody else see.
Well, just looking there, Steve, the first five of them, there's two Olympic champions, one world champion, that's El Garouge, and then the pretender to the crown, Noah Nien. If this race was over 800 metres, you think Noah Nien would win it. If it was over 3,000 metres, you know that El Garouge would win it. On a 57-second lap, 1:52 at 800 metres, and really the pacemaker, as you call him rightly, he slowed down, and now it's El Garouge on his own.
This is the script, 600 metres to go. El Garouge goes to the front. He hasn't kicked hard yet. You're going to see that very shortly. He'll wind it up. He'll try and stretch them out. He'll keep the pace moving. Probably around about the time of the bell, he'll kick hard again. Nien has to stay close. Cacho is using his experience. He knows he needs to be close on the last lap. Estevez coming away. These four are pulling clear. Diaz, the other Spaniard, is left behind with Morsali and the others. El Garouge has a look at the screen. He knows they're there. This is where it might come. Here comes Estevez, and there goes El Garouge. El Garouge kicks in. Estevez moves in behind him. Nien pushed out of the way, back into third place. Cacho is beginning to tire. El Garouge, Estevez, Nien. The Spaniards are going crazy here in Seville. Their man's in second place. What can he do? Can he hang on to El Garouge? He's striding away down the back straight now. He's opening up a gap. Nien is giving chase. It might be too late though. El Garouge is gone. He's 5 yards clear. Nien has lost his chance. El Garouge is going away. They won't catch him now. This man has got supreme strength. He's quick when he needs to be. He's the defending world champion. He's the world record holder over 1500 metres. He's the world record holder over the mile. He's come away again to win the world championships with a brilliant piece of 1500 metre running. Nien gets the silver medal. Estevez gets bronze for Spain. And Cacho fourth. Diaz fifth. Then it was Rotich. Well, the other places they can run through. A new championship record. 3:27. I'm getting too excited watching the clock that's still ticking on, Brendan. But this man, what more can you say about him? I thought he could have won in a slow race anyway. The result was probably always going to be the same. But he decided he'd like the race to be quick. He didn't want to get into any trouble, and that's the way it went.
Well, Noah Nguyen was on his own against El Garouge until the pacemaker Kaouche. There he's asking his teammate Kaouche to help him out. I'm sure the nervousness of El Garouge about a slow run race was why he insisted on his teammate setting the pace for him. He did a fine job. He made it into a long distance race. He gave everything the advantage of El Garouge, but this man is a true champion. He's now 2 times world champion. He's the world record holder for the mile and the 1500 meters. There's only one thing left for him, and we'll have to wait for a year till we see him in Sydney. And if he wins the gold medal in Sydney, then you could say he's one of the greatest 1500 meter runners of all time. That was an outstanding performance, and that was an excellent run by the Spaniard Estevez. He did it all right. He moved into the right place at the right time, and the stadium had something to shout about, Steve.
Well, Brendan, when you come to World Championships, it's almost like a reunion, and I've seen Gonzalez, the great Spanish runner today. I've seen Seb Cohen. I know that people think that we don't talk anymore, but we've been talking about this man, and we were talking about what he might do and how he might dominate this race, and that's exactly what he did. We thought that Nguyen had to be very close. To be honest, Estevez spoiled any chances that he might have had by coming in between them at the bell, but really there weren't any questions were the 3:27 in a World Championship final. Well, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. He really was phenomenal. Nguyen can't have any disappointments, to be perfectly honest. He ran as well as he possibly could, but there really is no answer to this man at the moment. He's been running so well all season, and he's picked his races well. He's had 1 or 2 slight medical problems, but nothing wrong with his fitness.
Steve, if I was El Garouge, I'd be very happy to have my young teammate running a lap of honour, because let's face it, he did help him enormously. And the fact that he came into the race, El Garouge knew that the young Moroccan was going to set the pace for him, which means that's why when the gun went, he set off in the lead, which is a bit of a surprise, because he knew sitting at the front his teammate was going to come behind him, and he did do that. He did it perfectly. He made it into one of these true run races that El Garouge knows that's up to him. And here we are coming round the bend with 1 lap to go. Estevez is a long way back here, and already El Garouge is committed to this race. He's looked behind him, Noah Nguyen. Cacho's making a big effort, and there Estevez moving through from 4th place there, accelerating quickly into the home straight. And I think this was the point in the race where Noah Nguyen, if he had any thoughts about winning the race, I think this is where he lost them. Estevez came in there, came on the outside, and I'm sure he gave a little bit of a bump to Noah Nguyen. And if you stop the race there, that was where Noah Nguyen was never going to be a challenge to El Garouge. He couldn't get out from that point. And at the bell, when he heard the bell, El Garouge, as he often does, Steve, he uses the bell as a signal. It pumps the adrenaline to him, and he's off.
Well, he had a rehearsal in the semi-final. It's exactly what he did there. And the only difference today was that the initial pace had been a lot faster. Well, when Saïd Ouita won an Olympic gold medal, they named a train after him in Morocco. I think they might have to name a jet after this guy. Actually, it's an interesting point, Brent, about the pace-making. The trouble is, of course, when 3 Brits used to get the final, I couldn't see myself ever asking Seb Cohen, Steve Ovett to take the pace.
Well, he wouldn't even talk to each other before the race, you three, so there's no chance of you talking about a pacemaking. But there, at that point there, that top bend by El Garouge was absolutely brilliant. Nguyen had no chance. He was reduced to the mere mortal we know he is, and this man is invincible. He had some great assistance, and to see him run down the finishing straight and finish with a time of 3:27, he's wiping his nose, he's kissing his hands, he's waving in the air. A true champion, a much applauded champion. And Noah Nguyen, he's learned an awful lot this year. Great performance from Estevez, good performance by Cacho in 4th place, and a great performance by the other Spaniard. 3, 4 and 5, the crowd are happy with that. Noah Nguyen might be slightly disappointed, but this man is a real champion. You can't take anything away from him. He's had an interrupted season, and he looks absolutely invincible.